I had always considered myself a calm man, not the kind to throw things or scream when I was angry. But that night, I learned even calm men have limits. And once you cross them, you can't go back. It started with a gut feeling, the kind you can't explain, but can't ignore either. My wife, Emily, had been working late far too often. She'd come home with that glow, flushed cheeks, distracted smile. And when I'd ask what was keeping her, she'd say, "Just paperwork, babe." But there's only so much paperwork in the world. One Thursday night, she claimed she had a late team meeting at a hotel conference room across town. Something about her tone felt off. Too casual, too rehearsed. I decided I'd drive there, park a block away, and see for myself. The hotel lobby was quiet, the kind of place where sound carries. I scanned the conference schedule board. No meeting listed for a company. My heart thudded against my ribs like it was trying to warn me. I took the elevator to the third floor, following faint laughter echoing down the hallway. Room 312. The door wasn't fully shut. I wish I could say I hesitated, but I didn't. I pushed it open, and there she was, Emily, my wife of 7 years, in bed with her co-worker Jason, their bodies tangled in a way that left no doubt. Her face froze when she saw me, like she'd just been caught committing a crime, which, in a way, she had. "Mark, it's not what it looks like," she started. I laughed. A sharp, humorless sound. "You're right. It's much worse." Jason scrambled for his clothes, mumbling something about leaving. I stepped aside, letting him rush past me. I wasn't interested in him. My eyes stayed on Emily. She was trying to cover herself with a sheet, but there's no covering that kind of betrayal. I didn't shout. I didn't threaten. I just said, "You'll regret this," and walked out. That was the moment my revenge began. For the next 3 weeks, I played the perfect husband. I made dinner, asked about her day, even brought her flowers. She relaxed, thinking maybe I'd moved past it. But what she didn't know was that I was gathering evidence. Screenshots of her texts, bank records of her hotel stays, even security camera footage from the hotel hallway. I also learned something else. Jason wasn't her only affair partner. There was another man, a neighbor's visiting cousin, and a string of flirty messages with a married client. Emily wasn't just cheating. She was running a side business in deceit. I made a plan. It was her birthday. I told her I'd booked a fancy restaurant and invited some surprise guests. She loved surprises. She dressed up in a red dress that once made me weak in the knees. Now it just looked like a costume for someone I didn't recognize. When we arrived, the private dining room was filled with people. Her parents, her closest friends, a couple of work colleagues, and Jason. I'd invited him personally. She looked at me in confusion, then noticed the TV screen on the wall. "Happy birthday, Emily," I said, raising my glass. "Let's watch a little slideshow I made for you." The first image was of our wedding day, her in white, smiling at me like I was the only man in the world. The next was a text exchange between her and Jason, discussing that night at the hotel. Then came screenshots with the other men. Then hotel invoices. Then the grainy hallway footage. Her face went pale. Her mother's hand shot to her mouth. Gasps filled the room. Jason shifted uncomfortably, clearly regretting showing up. By the time the slideshow ended, Emily was crying silently, mascara running down her cheeks. I stood up. "For 7 years, I gave you everything I had. This is what you gave me in return. So here's my gift to you. You're free. Don't call me. Don't come home. Your stuff will be in storage by tomorrow." And then I walked out, leaving her in that room with every person who had ever thought she was decent. My divorce lawyer said she'd never seen a cleaner case. With the evidence I collected, Emily didn't get a dime more than what the law required. Word spread fast. Her friends distanced themselves, her professional reputation tanked, and Jason vanished from her life almost immediately. As for me, I slept like a baby for the first time in months. My revenge wasn't loud or violent. It was precise, calculated, and public. People like to think revenge is the end of the story. It isn't. It's the point where you finally stop carrying someone else's weight. 2 days after the birthday massacre, I came home to find Emily sitting on the porch steps. Her hair was messy, eyes swollen from crying. She stood when she saw me, blocking the door. "Mark, please, can we talk?" I looked at her the way you look at an old photograph, recognizing the face, but knowing you don't feel the same anymore. "There's nothing left to say," I replied. Her voice broke. I made a mistake. A lot of mistakes. But I love you." I laughed again, that same dry sound from the hotel room. "No, Emily, you loved how I made your life easy. You loved having someone who believed your lies. That's not love, it's convenience." She tried to grab my arm, but I stepped back. "You burned this bridge yourself. I just made sure everyone could see the fire." In the weeks that followed, she sent long texts, voicemails that started angry and ended pitiful. I didn't answer a single one. Instead, I focused on myself. I started hitting the gym, spending time with friends I'd neglected. Even took a trip alone to the coast. The more distance I got, the clearer everything became. Emily's betrayal wasn't sudden. It had been creeping in for years, hidden under fake smiles and late nights. I had ignored the signs because I wanted to believe we were stronger than that. But strength doesn't come from pretending things are fine. Months later, I heard from a mutual acquaintance that Emily had moved into a small apartment and was working a different job, one that didn't pay half of what she used to make. She'd burned too many bridges to stay in her old position. Jason? He had apparently ghosted her completely. Karma doesn't always knock on the door right away. Sometimes it slips in quietly, making itself comfortable, and waits for the right moment to take everything. The last time I saw Emily was purely by accident. I was at a downtown cafe, reading. She walked in, looking thinner, older somehow. Her eyes found me, and for a second there was this silent plea between us. I didn't move. She walked out without ordering. And that was when I knew my revenge had worked better than I ever imagined. Because it wasn't about destroying her. It was about reclaiming me. 6 months later, the divorce was finalized. My lawyer handed me the last stack of papers to sign. With one stroke of my pen, Emily was no longer my wife, just a chapter I'd survived. That night, I stood on my apartment balcony, whiskey glass in hand, city lights flickering below. The cool breeze felt cleaner somehow, like it had blown out the last trace of her from my life. I thought about the man I'd been the day I opened that hotel door, hurt, blindsided, clinging to what I thought was love. That man was gone. In his place was someone sharper, stronger, and no longer afraid to walk away. I raised my glass toward the skyline, not to Emily, not to revenge, but to peace, the kind you only get when you stop bleeding for someone who never cared enough to stop cutting you. And as the night settled around me, I knew one thing for certain. She'd remember what I did for the rest of her life, because legends aren't forgotten.